As a reflection of the keynotes that we heard today, many topics were covered, many ideas were mentioned, many questions remain, begging for an answer. Like, for instance, when we talk about the AI benefiting people or benefiting humans, is it all people or some of them? Is it the elite who benefits or everyone? When we talk about government efficiency and using AI for that, how much government do we actually want to see? Should the government be invisible, transparent, efficient? Should it be felt or seen, or not felt, not seen? Is it something that you should feel that it's around you all the time, looking at everything you do, gathering that data, building a personalized view of the world for you? Do you want that? Investments in cybersecurity. Of course, we can create policies, we can create standards, we can create even funny videos online to describe why cybersecurity is important, but do we actually care? When you think about how much data you're giving away on a daily basis without asking questions about where it's going, or clicking accept all when the cookie question comes up. So do we actually care about cybersecurity? Our personal data? When we talk about safety measures, national or international, including the AI Act, so will it be mandatory or not? So national, international. If it's not mandatory, then maybe there are business interests that trump all of this. If it does become mandatory, then we talked about dark research as well. Not everything has to come to the market as a solution to be sold or consumed. And probabilistic AI as well. So yes, AI is probabilistic, but it also involves decision-making at every step. So going left or going right. And decision-making, even with humans, is extremely complex. And now we're trying to figure out how to make it work with machines. And when we regulate use cases, then, and looking at risks, so there are knowable risks, but there are also unknowable risks. Not just unknown, but unknowable. So how do we know about unknowable risks? We can plan for things we can imagine, but AI brings opportunities and risks we can't even imagine today. So are we talking about fail-safe solutions or safe-to-fail solutions? Or are we mostly dealing with solutions with unknown impact? So we talk about security, correctness, and ethics. Foreign influence, for instance, one of the risks and questions that is begging for an answer. So we can create guidelines and guardrails and safety measures, but if we do this only in one area of the world, then do other areas of the world share our values as well? Like, do they care about the things that we care? Freedom, democracy, human lives. And if they don't care about those things, but they have access to our minds or our children's minds, then what's going to come next? So we can talk about things like TikTok, for instance, right? And the ethical norms, again, it's just like the last question was about, is there alignment between the EU member states? Formally, maybe yes. But even when we think about ethical values, when we think about what people value, what they believe is correct or not correct, right or wrong, we don't have unity even in the EU. Different cultures approach these things differently. So how do we want to impose those standards which do not exist on something we do not understand? Disinformation, social media, deepfakes are coming up as well. So this year especially, with like a super election year across the globe, deepfakes are not something that is coming in the future, maybe sometime. It's like it's here. It is influencing our world already today. We have recent examples from Europe. There will be more examples coming this year. If you look at what people tend to believe, if it aligns with their previous beliefs, then pushing deepfakes into people or into people for them to believe them is, to be fair, relatively easy. And the technology is there. And these are not technologies where you need to use those 10 million for electricity to compute. It's something you can do on your laptop or, to be fair, on your phone. And then profit chasing as well. So we talk about ideals and values and common interest, but profit always wins, or almost always wins, if there's opportunity to win. It's not necessarily a bad thing, to be fair. Profit needs to win every once in a while, but not always. So job displacement. Again, AI bringing benefits to some or to all. And there are jobs that maybe should not be automated at all because they shouldn't even exist. But if we start removing unnecessary, pointless jobs from the job market, what will happen to all the people who are doing those jobs today? It's not about technology. And the unknowns. So we do kind of, we slowly move away in this discussion. We move away from technology, to be fair, and we move into something which is much more complex than technology, which is humans. So when we talk about addressing bias, for instance, then one of the ways to address bias is to try to correct bias. But how do we know that people correcting bias are not biased? How do we know that the corrected solution is actually better? The corrected result is better? Because we will be the ones assessing this. Can we claim that we are without bias? No, we can't. So we're just replacing one bad with maybe another bad, with maybe even worse. How do we know? Should we not meddle at all? No, not really, because by today's standards, the results are not like, they don't seem to be good. For me, for you, for us. They might seem absolutely okay from someone from another culture. So how do we correct bias, or how do we approach this? Doing this through bias probably doesn't work. Then we get to the binarization of the gray zone. So as humans, we are used to operate in a world with a lot of uncertainty, and we have kind of accepted the fact that there are many things we don't know or understand. When it also comes to the law, for instance, law is not black and white. There are many gray areas in legislation as well, in criminal law. It looks binary, but it isn't. So when we can navigate those gray zones, because we are used to doing so, and kind of culturally we have developed these almost like antibodies to deal with those uncertainties, then how do we imprint that approach onto AI, which is, yes, probabilistic, but also based on decision making, left to right at every stage? And then our tendency as humans to try to control things, we try to control everything because, again, we're humans. How do we control complex systems which are uncontrollable with many unknowns? So what do we do about those? So lots of questions, still begging for an answer. After the break and during the panel session, I hope we will be able to at least start addressing some of those. And in the panel discussion, we will focus on the opportunities that come from leveraging AI. And as a huge part of Estonia's success in digital technologies has been something else than technology. It has been people and legislation and creating trust and building on existing trust, then I think we do have an opportunity with this center to bring three key actors together. So we talk about the state, we talk about academy, and we talk about the private sector, nationally and internationally. If we don't do that, or if that doesn't get done, most of these questions remain unanswered until something goes really, really wrong. So, a break now, and coming back to discuss opportunities after the break. Thank you.